All right, so we are starting color today. We are starting with colored pencils. I'm getting ready to walk you through this, so if you cannot see this, you might want to move to where you can. So one of the things about colored pencils, before we start using them, is that the quality of your colored pencils really does make a difference in what you're able to do with them. I know you guys have always pretty much just used like Crayola colored pencils, basic colored pencils. So the ones we are going to be using are these. They are Prismacolor Premier. These are expensive colored pencils. They are very good. You can blend them very well. Each box is organized by color, right? And it is very important that when you clean up, you put all your colored pencils back in here. There should be one for each slot. And they were organized at the beginning of the year, so they should all be there. So today, when you fill out your color wheel, because we are focusing on blending colors, you are only going to be using your red, your blue, and this is the blue that we want, because this blue is just a straight blue. It does not have any purple or yellow in it. And then of course yellow, our primary colors. So those are kind of the basis of the color wheel, is those three color pencils. One other thing about the color pencils, we do not sharpen them in the electric pencil sharpener. It will just eat them up. The hand sharpeners on the wall work, and then you guys should each have a small pencil sharpener, which I did have one, but it appears that I have given it out to someone, so I might have to get up and grab one. So again, primary colors are what all of our colors come from, that red, blue, and yellow. So those are the base of our color wheel. Just like the rainbow, when I do my color wheel, I like to start with red. Like I told you guys when you were labeling it, it doesn't really matter which one you start on because it's a circle. So you could start your red anywhere. When you are filling it out today, one of the things we are also focusing on is that towards the middle, we are gonna do a lighter hue of red. So we're coloring very softly. And notice that, is this loose? No. When I'm using colored pencils, I like to hold my pencil sideways, kind of like when I'm shading. Okay, we fill in the whole area. It's kind of just like shading. You're using those little small strokes so that it's not all scribbly, right? So when I fill in my red, and this is gonna, oh, that is broken. I knew it was. Let me grab a pencil sharpener. When you fill in the red, you are taking your time, filling it in nicely. Make sure your pencil shavings make it in the trash as well. So again, I'm holding that kind of sideways. Nice little even marks. Why does this keep breaking? Sometimes when these get dropped, they break inside. So I think that might, okay. Let's hope that does it. Because again, I hate to waste these. They're very nice color pencils. You're gonna feel how smooth they go on. And I know watching me color is not the most exciting thing in the world, but you're gonna have to bear with me a little bit today. In order to show you how to do this, I have to show you how to do this. So remember I said we wanted it kind of lighter in the middle and darker to the edge. As you can see right now, I have not done that yet. It's all kind of light right now. So now what I'm gonna do is start on the edges, making it darker as I go in. And just like with shading, I don't just go in and push as hard as I can to get that darker color, right? I'm layering these on top of each other, going over the same spot. And it's gonna go just like our shading, darker to lighter as we get towards the middle. Now you can see that in a lot of areas we can still see the white of the paper coming through. I didn't know that was so funny. I'm glad I'm funny this morning. People use different colored pencil techniques. Some people do like a hatching. I don't like for the white of the paper to really show through. I like it to be a really smooth, bright kind of color. So you can see, again, this is taking me a while just for this one color. I'm not just scribbling it in and saying I'm done, right? I'm layering these to get that dark to light. And then once I am done, we have a couple of tools that you can use to actually blend these to get rid of that part of the middle. You can use blending sticks. So this one, however, does have, if you have pencil on it, you're not gonna wanna use that though. You're gonna wanna use a fresh one or clean that off really well. Okay, you can, thought I had some over here. You can use just a tissue or a paper towel. That's one way that you can blend them, just like how you blend your regular pencils when you're shading. Okay, and that works a little bit. You can see it blends it a little bit better. Some of the other tools that we have, I don't want any of these sharpened. We have these clear Prismacolored pencils. I'm sharpening one right now. So they almost look kind of silver, but they're called colorless. And when we go over the pencil with that, it gives us that nice, smooth colored pencil to where you could actually draw something that was maybe shiny and make it look shiny in the picture. So you can see as we blend, I'm blending from darker to lighter. And even though it's blending, it's still going to be that lighter shade towards the middle and get darker as we go out. So that is one of the blending tools that you have, and you can see it's also really nice for getting those edges blended together. And so when we are done, we have this nice red without the white of the paper showing through. It's blended. It's hard to see there, but it is darker and gets lighter as it goes in. You're gonna have some residue left on your pencil, so you can just use a scrap piece of paper to kind of wipe that off before you go into the next color. So you are gonna do that with your red first, and yes, with your blue. So I'm just gonna mark these. I am not gonna make you watch me color in the blue and the yellow also. And your yellow. And you can see these are spaced apart on the color wheel evenly. So it's I have red, then 1, 2, 3, 4 blue, 1, 2, 3, 4 yellow, 1, 2, 3 back to red. All right. Okay. I know this is not exciting, but I really do. This is the part I really need you guys watching. So, my primary colors here, I have red and blue. In the very center of those is going to be a color that is half red and half blue. So what color is half red and half blue? Purple. So to get my purple, okay, I am gonna start just like I did with the red, but I'm not gonna fill it in quite as much as I did with the red because it's not going to be just red. I'm gonna be mixing it with that blue. I still want it to be darker towards the edges, lighter towards the middle. I want to fill in all those little gaps. So you can see I have this nice light coat of red.
That's going to be yellow, isn't it?
No, yellow is primary. So then I'm going to take my blue, because it's halfway between red and blue, and I'm going to layer my blue on top of that. Okay, notice at first this really isn't looking like a color, right? It's just kind of red with blue mixed into it. And because it's halfway between, we want equal amounts of each one. So we don't want more red or more blue. We're trying to do equal amounts, so I'm gonna throw a little more red in there. Then I'm gonna go back to my clear blender. I'm gonna start on the edge. I can already see I've got a little too much red. If it's coming through mostly one color, that means you have too much of that one color in there. So I'm gonna layer a little more of that blue in there. And this is the tricky part of mixing colors, is trying to get basically the ratio of each color correct. All right, start blending again. Sometimes it is difficult to blend those together. So when I see this, I'm still seeing a little more of that red. I'm going to layer a little more blue in there. So this is the trick, is layering the colors into each other. Once I get these blended in nicely, it's not a very bright, but that is going to give me a violet color, which is hard to see on this, but it is a violet color. So that's what's in between red and blue. So we are going to do the same thing with the blue and yellow on this one, and I'm just going to do one more to show you. And again, I'm very lightly filling these in. Now, when you are doing projects, you are not going to be limited to just these three. This is just kind of an activity to get you started blending colors. to get you started with the colored pencils and to kind of focus on this color wheel a little bit. So I've got my blue. It's halfway between blue and yellow, so I'm gonna mix that in there. I don't want it streaky. You can see this color already trying to kind of come through. Clean my blender. And then go in and blend these together. And you can see that when I blend them, I'm going to come up with a nice green color. And again, if you see one color more than the other, you're just gonna go in and kind of layer that other color back on top of it in the spots. Like I can see a lot of yellow coming through there, but then a lot of blue right here. So I'm just gonna keep layering those to get my nice blended green color. All right, so you are gonna do your primary colors first, your red, blue, and yellow. Then you're gonna mix halfway between them with those two colors together. So I'm gonna get orange here, okay? So what happens here? Well, in between red and violet, we are going to have a red violet. That means it's going to be mostly red, just a little bit of blue. Okay, so this is the last one I'm gonna make you watch me do. So I want it mostly red. And again, using those little strokes that fill it in are important. That they are even, it helps it blend much better. So I'm going just a little darker on the red than I did when I was making the violet. Trying to fill in some of those white spots that I see. And then once I have it mostly red, I'm going to just very lightly add a touch of blue. But again, making sure I'm putting it in there evenly. Just a light amount of the blue. Clean my blender. And then you can see when I mix these, I'm going to get a red violet. So it's a little more violet than the red was. You can see there's a difference, but it is not, it doesn't have as much blue as the violet. So you can see it is a step between both of those colors. Again, you want to blend that nicely. So we've got red, red, violet, and then violet. One last thing I want to show you, we're going to talk about the color wheel more after you get yours done. So if I was doing this blue violet, I know it's going to be mostly blue. And again, notice that the marks from my colored pencil are not looking like scribbles, right? I'm trying to keep them kind of uniform, filling in those white areas evenly. Okay, so if this is blue violet, we know it's going to be mostly blue with just a touch of red. And the reason I'm showing you this is because there is one other method that we use to blend these. So I'm going to very lightly go in with some red, keeping it even. I know, I'm ready for a nap too. Not scribbling, just filling in. Okay, so the other thing that we have are these Prismacolor blenders. They're called colorless blenders. They have two sides. There's this side for detail work, and then there is this side for bigger areas. Just like my other one, I'm gonna you're gonna want scrap paper for this, not your actual paper you're working on. I'm gonna make sure it's pretty clean. And I'm gonna go in with that. And this is gonna make that blue violet. It's blending them together. What?
You have to push hard on it.
You don't really have to push hard. It has some kind of it's probably alcohol based. So it's like a chemical in it, right? And if once you get it mixed, you feel like you didn't get it, like I feel like maybe I didn't quite have enough red. I'm gonna add just a little bit more. And then blend that again. And that is going to give me my blue violet, okay? So 2 blending options today. You have your blending pencils. I will put some of those at each table. You have your colorless blenders that are more of an alcohol-based marker. Some people actually do just use alcohol when they're blending. And when you feel, you're gonna be able to tell the difference. When you use this, it's really smooth because that chemical interacts with the colored pencil and helps to blend them. So you can play around with both of those, see which one you really like. And so you are going to work on doing this. Remember, every 4 is a primary. So red, 1, 2, 3, blue, 1, 2, 3, yellow, 1, 2, 3, back to red. Halfway between the primaries, you blend those together to get your secondary colors. And then things like your red violet and your blue violet, those are your tertiary colors, okay? So I'm gonna pass out colored pencils now, and we will get to work. Do primary colors first, please. Primary colors